try biggie track in the haze. Macy don't walk just a baby. Scrap with a 380.
Yeah, all of this shit with no mention. I come from Roach to Gucci to Fendi. Glock 17 with like 32 in it. Glock shooting Remy. I brought the boat to the city. I don't even need no toilet to shit how I'm shitting. You cuff me once and it's over like Drizzy. Having good times in the city like Jimmy. Lord, this shit me, my Glock and it send me. You see how I'm winning, but I'm still sinning. Feeling like walk from the start to beginning. Feel like the devil been trying to walk with me. Talk to myself so nobody will listen. Talk to the stove when I'm up in the kitchen. It told me get up and whip it like this. It told me pick up the spoon, it's a mission. Ran off on the floor, but that my intention. Just did a show at the edge like a grizzly. Walked in with 30 and left out with 60. Chopper got built to be look like a midget. Up binary trigger, you hit it and spit it. He wanna beat me, he dumb and he silly. Sit through the night and then God for forgiveness. I'm in my granny, I know you can hear me. Sit on the couch.
Yo.
This a home invasion. Hit him with the 12 gauge, knocked it meat on the kitchen table. Bitch, we got some flavor, got my Scottish truffle batter. Negotiate.
I'll be right back. Going to the other scene. Don't click off.
We don't get no feeling, we get body nigga. Fucked a lot of nigga, bitch, and killed a lot of niggas. Ran through so many pills to pull a lot of triggers. Hold out a lot of nigga, free my partner, nigga. Free big shots, chrome hydrate with the rig on. This house is from Vegas. Out this tussin' in this quaking, could play for the Lakers. Got two jab on
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Norwood, can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear, my brother. How you doing?
I am well. We have a few viewers tuned in. Welcome everybody. We're gonna let everybody trickle in, man. We did Monday Night Raw on a Tuesday, and now we're doing Saturday Morning Live on a Sunday, man. Our schedule is all turned around, but we're here though. How you feeling, my brother?
I'm feeling fantastic. Happy to be here. Ready to pick some games.
Ready to pick some games. Let me make sure I got the chat box showing. I need the chat box showing. There we go. Yes, sir. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to take a second. So before we get into these games, man, we're gonna really get into it on Monday. But the bombshell news, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the SEC GOAT, the NCAA football GOAT, the GOAT has retired. Well, looks like somebody calling you. We'll wait for you to get back.
I'm back.
Better put on that do not disturb, brother. Put that do not disturb on.
Pod right now, of course.
Throw that do not disturb on, brother. But the GOAT, man, how do you feel? The GOAT is over with. Nick Saban retires.
I'm intrigued to see how this plays out, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I think that it's good for the parity of the league, but I mean, yeah, man. Alabama finna catch hell though. I know that much.
You think so?
Yeah, they about to try to salvage that. They finna try to do everything they can over there.
Well, they got Kalen DeBoer, who is like supposed to be the next. He's the meteoric rise head coach, right? He was at like Sioux Falls like 8 years ago, and then within 7-8 years, he went from like NAIA to Division II to Boise State to Washington to national championship game. Like he's real. His prowess is to be able to again. What's up, Sneaky?
And he's got a hell of a team, and everybody's gonna get drafted.
Yeah, but he's also able to use the transfer portal. So when you come from outside of the SEC, like the SEC is such a juggernaut. Is there an echo? Oh, the SEC is such a juggernaut that, especially recruiting wise, that you don't have to necessarily go into the portal. They're doing it now a little bit, but not like other teams. Him coming from outside the SEC, he knows how to navigate the portal really well. I mean, he got Michael Penix Jr. He got, I think Odunze was already a recruit there, but he got a couple other recruits. The defense was built. I mean, his cupboard wasn't bare, but he knew where to recruit in the transfer portal. And I think that's what Alabama's going to have to do, because a lot of those, I think there's a mass exodus about to happen.
Absolutely.
But
And that's the reason that it's so scary because I mean for them. It's not scary for me. I'm a Florida fan. We got our own struggles, peace and blessings to everybody else, but I gotta handle what in my own backyard first. But as far as that goes, yeah, they're about to try to pick that team off. I know Ohio State is gonna do everything they can. I know that y'all filthy mongrels are gonna be right over there trying to scoop it off the
we
floor.
ain't even doing nothing.
hopefully-
Like, we already started. We just took the DB coach.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? We not doing nothing. I can see you, Reggie.
Like, we ain't even like we out here. It's interesting to see how Kirby is managing his staff, and this is where I'll end it because I really want to get into the in-depth conversation on Monday. But Kirby is managing his staff. He used Will Muschamp and I hope Bobo is kind of like placeholders. So now Muschamp is now being downgraded from co-defensive coordinator to analyst so that he can spend time with his family. And but you know,
for you, my boy.
but now they added Travaris Robinson, who is like the DB coach. Like, he's the next up and coming one. And that also allows for, if Glenn Schumann gets, taken away somewhere, our linebackers coach, you then add him to it. So Kirby's really playing pretty well in terms of managing his roster, his coaching roster. But yeah, I'm interested to see if there is going to be a Bama mass exodus. I think Jalen Milroe should stay though. I think the board will get a lot of play out of Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe. Go in the draft. That's just all you need to do. Kansas City should be interested. San Francisco should be interested. Hell, Atlanta should be interested.
I think he loses money if he goes down. I think if he has a decent if he has a decent to good year next year, I think he probably will end up going in the first 2 to 3 rounds. I think this year he would be a 3 to 4th round pick.
First or second round doing what?
Playing quarterback. If he plays well under the board, they will draft him on. You know how that works. They draft him on potential.
Okay, eventually you have to come to grips with the reality, man. Like, I like Jalen Milroe. I think that he has a space in the NFL. He's not a quarterback. And the more time that he wastes at that position, the more difficult it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be difficult because of his measurables. But
I think you could have said the same thing about Tim Tebow. I think it's the same thing that you just said about Milroe you could say about Tebow.
You want to know what the difference is between Tim Tebow and Jalen Milroe? 2 national championships.
That don't matter. We talking about the pros. You could have 2 national championships and be a trash at quarterback in the pros. We talking about the ability to be a quarterback.
I agree with you as far as their skill set and their abilities, but Tim Tebow winning that second national championship, him being the reason, is what really got him into a position where he started out a quarterback. Jalen Milroe's not going to go in there with that same level of pedigree, and that's going to be the reason that he's going to go immediately to a different position, which I think that he could be. He could be whatever you think about Cordero Patterson, and I'm not talking about wide receiver Cordero Patterson. I'm not talking about punt return Cordero Patterson. I'm talking about offensive weapon Cordero Patterson. Everything that he is the same thing that Jalen Milroe could be and or better.
I mean, I think that's besides the point. What I'm saying is, if you give some of these other quarterbacks a shot, I mean, you gave Johnny Manziel a shot. I think Jalen Milroe is just as good or better than Johnny Manziel. Like, you gave Johnny
throwing the ball.
Yeah, same. Johnny Manziel only threw it deep. He didn't throw over the middle passes. He did the exact same thing Jalen Milroe does. He did the exact same thing. He threw it up to Mike Evans.
We can agree to disagree.
A-Rich. Who's A-Rich? Anthony. Sneaky calling you out. Said, oh, no, you're not coming out of your mouth talking about Jalen Milroe when you champion Anthony Richardson, who had more tackles than touchdowns.
Jalen Milroe is not in the same conversation as Anthony Richardson.
I think he could be if he had a good year next year. If he has a good year next year, he will be. If he has a good year next year, you definitely could be.
I told y'all a year in advance about Anthony Richardson.
You told us based
also
on his
telling
what?
you-
He had no production. Based on his what? What did you tell us about him?
I
His
said
measurables?
His measurables.
Exactly. That's my point.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, just like I was right about Anthony Richardson's measurables getting him drafted in the first round, I'm also going to be right about Jalen Milroe not being drafted in the first round. I think that's laughable.
I think if he has a good year next year, he'll be a first round draft pick.
Whenever y'all want to bet on Jalen Milroe being drafted in the first round, I got the money.
First or second guy. Sneaky. Can you see the sneaky chat? You can't see the chat? Well, sneaky is sneaky is going.
Sneaky, enjoy yourself for this one weekend while I transition. Next weekend, I'm back.
Sure
So
you are.
enjoy
Sure you
yourself.
are.
Get all the shots off you need. Shoot from the hip. All
You
you
should be
want
able to see it now.
I see it now.
He said they are the same person. Because Anthony Richardson, the year before he came out, he didn't even start. He couldn't even beat Emory Jones out.
That was a poor decision by a poor coach who got fired.
No, he didn't. That is your boy.
Is that Billy?
Yep.
Well, a coach that will be fired. Okay.
Will he be fired? He might get fired next year. Y'all might be Florida. Y'all might be Alabama next year. And that will have him keep his job.
Yo, that's not going to happen.
You sure?
We can't have that happen.
It's setting up. All Billy got to do is beat Alabama and Tennessee. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
No, I had to get the sound right. I couldn't hear you. I had to be damn near mute to hear you.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can turn my microphone up, but then that would have me.
No, you're good now. We're A-okay now.
Okay. Well, without further ado, since everybody's trickled in, let's go ahead and get started picking these games, man. So before we pick the games, we'll talk about screens for the win. It's screens for the
gave
win.
you the finger right there. Don't make me cuss today, man.
On Sunday?
Martin Luther King birthday tomorrow, bro. Relax.
Man, so yesterday, we'll talk about yesterday since we didn't pick the games yesterday. The Texans and the Browns. Shout out to
Let's go.
Shout out to Josh. This is Josh, who is the Baltimore Ravens fans who swear Joe Flacco is the greatest thing out of the 2003 draft when we know better. Joe Flacco turned into who we thought he was. This is what Joe Flacco did every other year of his career except for the year they won the Super Bowl. He had an Eli Manning year, and then he turned back into a pumpkin throwing interceptions or whatever. And the Browns went down there to the Texans and lost 45-14, in which Joe Flacco, at the time, it was 24-14, and they had the ball. It was close, right? He threw 2 pick sixes in a row. 2 pick sixes in 3 passes. Sneaky said Njoku and Flacco had the power of the Brown Panthers streaky way.
And I want to be very clear about this. Joe Flacco played the best quarterback for the Cleveland Browns this year.
That don't change the fact that he turned into a pumpkin. He turned into a pumpkin against the Texans.
I think that's more alarming that you have to go back to Deshaun Watson, who didn't play good all season.
Well, I mean, yes and no. He didn't, but he also was hurt. Like, he had a fractured shoulder, like, the last 4 or 5 games he played. So,
what about the beginning of the season when he was fresh because he ain't played in 2 years?
He ain't played in 2 years. Am I wrong?
All right. Okay, so
I think there's no excuse this year. Like this last year, or this past year, now that we're in the present tense, this past year, I think he had a built-in excuse, and he knew it. I think he had a built-in excuse. He knew that you should be able to see ESPN scoreboard. There we go.
But the mulligan is over, right?
Yeah.
The rubber got to meet the road next season.
What's up, Nick? El Creepo can't go back to El Creepo. Yeah, they going back to Creepo, the nasty man. They going back to nasty, man.
Freaky D, Freaky D, Freaky D.
That's wild. Pause.
I mean, that's his name. That's what he's known for.
Nah. Ain't nobody else say Freaky D and be cool. You can't just let that rock.
Yeah, unless because you get in that massage room and
I don't care
they're
what y'all
going
say.
dead turtle. I'm happy to be back. I love Thomas Wayne.
Oh Lord. But back to it. But I will say, yeah, Nick said I told you it was pause. I will say the Texans defense is for real. They got that week 16 game, they didn't play, or 17 game, they didn't play anybody. They didn't play quarterback CJ Stroud. They didn't play they didn't play Will Anderson Jr. They didn't play Christian the linebacker out of Alabama. They played all of them this game, and that defense just shut the Browns down in the second half.
I do have one question. Have the ballots for Coach of the Year already been cast?
I think now they have. No, but I think I think it if it was close, it's over with now. Because DeMeco Ryans has gotten he beat everybody that was in the running. Kevin Stefanski beat him. Indianapolis, Shane Steichen, who we championed on this show. Like, hey man, Shane Steichen out here playing, got him up out the paint. Like everybody that we thought was gonna be Coach of the Year, he beat him.
Adios, mi amigos.
Yes, sir. So that game was fun, man. So now the Texans are in the divisional round, and then we had the Snow Bowl of the Dolphins versus the Chiefs. And I mean, the Dolphins lost 26-7. We knew they were going to lose because it's cold, and they are a speed weather team. What's up, AJ? They are a speed weather team, a hot, warm weather team. And even though the Chiefs won 26-7, that was the most unimpressive 26-7 win I'd seen in a long time.
You're probably not gonna get an impressive win in that weather. I mean, Mahomes